Welcome to the first Wednesday of the month webinar where you can ask me anything and I will get a topic that's most talked about and then give you some information about it. So today's topic is about why do you create your problems? What do they mean to you? Okay, so we all have problems. The planet is one big fat problem. And what does it mean? How do you get over it? How do you, overcome all your difficulties? Well, this is what I do in forensic healing, is work out why you have your problems and work out what you need to do or the reason for them. Now, first and foremost, this is what you need to say. So something bad happens, even COVID-19. If it's not working for you, you say this: I created this. So what is the message for me? If you say those two things, I attracted or I created this, and what is the message for me to change? Then you're halfway there. Once you say that, then you're halfway there and you get the answer. Once you change and then you stay in your change enough to override how you were before, then the universe stops delivering it to you and makes it something that's been worthwhile. Don't waste your pain. So today's webinar, if you've got a question, you can ask me. I can pretty much get on it on my computer here. Or if you want to add yourself, you'll need earphones, and to do it from a mobile to this webinar, I should be able to talk to you online. Okay, so let's make sense of it. Let's go through a few things. Now, first and foremost, if it's a problem, then there's a lesson in it. So what is the lesson? Why, what do I have to learn from this? That's what you start to look for. For instance, I'll give you an example. When I was in the Mormon church, I loved it. It was great. Well, I loved it. Well, it was good for me. I didn't always love it because I didn't really love my life before. It was always a struggle. And in the Mormon church was part of a journey for me. I felt I had to be in there. The so-called God told me, this is the true church. I said to God, is this the true church? And he told me. I got an answer. It was yes. So that yes kept me strong in the church. And there I gave up drinking, smoking, killing myself. I stopped killing myself and I started to become spiritual. So I was in it for 18 years. But then at the end of the 18, or even years before, probably the 15-year mark, it all was going wrong and bad. There was hypocrisy, there was negativity, there was all of this crap. When I'm saying, oh my gosh, I'm like so loyal and this is so crap. But the universe I didn't see it. It was saying, get out of there now. Time to get out. Time for you to move on. All right? Now, you have people in your life that are the same. They're the same. They're like, they served a purpose, but then it's time to move on. But be grateful for it. I look at all of my past, all of the people in my past that I've moved on from, or it's just, no longer works, has all been an amazing message. And that is where you need self-reflection. And if you just move on instead of sitting back and going, okay, that relationship, what did it teach me? What did I learn from it? How did it help me grow spiritually? Everything's about growing spiritually. So you've got to make sure that you go, where am I stretching myself in this? All right. So intuition is another thing. This one got me in the past. When have I intuitively been guided, but I didn't obey? So if I look at this lockdown, and I've been intuitively being guided to change the way I was doing courses, not to do as many and pull back, well, that worked for lockdown. I'm not saying that I had completed all my courses, but I'd only had to worry about 2. But there's many other things. And also I was guided to do a company that's online that's not in an office. We used to have an office, but now we do it online. So there's many steps that I've been guided to do to make it online. And it was kind of weird if I look back and I'm going, we had people that were in the office, but it just never worked. And then I look back and I go, well, now I look and go, well, that was not meant to be online. It works better when I'm doing, not meant to be in person in an office. You're meant to be working online. Well, that works, doesn't it? It works now for me. So what I'm saying is, there's times when you've gone, I knew I should have said something. I knew I should have changed something, and I didn't, and it cost me. So when you stop following, the universe is talking to you, when you stop following the universe, then it's not going to work. So you've got to go, I am the creator, and where did I, not follow guidance? Where did I not overcome something? So self-reflection is what you need to do. I don't know if you've ever, I'm sure, have you guys, I'm going to see if I can see you guys now. Have you guys experienced that where you've said, I know I should have done something. I'm going to turn myself off there. There you go. Great, I can see. I've got to turn that off. All right. Yeah, so you've gone, I knew I should have done that, but I didn't. All right. I'm following and you notice it, La Melena. All right. Okay, so what else? Program. Oh my goodness. Well, you're programmed. Now, you don't know this because you're living new, but you have a program running in you that is addicted to a feeling. It's addicted to this is particularly important for people that had a lot of chaos or trauma or stress in childhood. Well, that becomes an addiction and you don't even know you've got it, but you might be saying, I meditate, but then shit hits the fan. It all starts to go wrong. Well, that's showing, I'm not saying that your meditations aren't working, but do you know it's a journey to overcome that past? But when you become aware of it and you go, yes, here it is again, because your body is going, it's a bit like having, going through, like you're an ex-smoker, you're an ex-drinker, you're an ex-drug addict, you're an ex-whatever addict. It takes a while for it really to get out of the system. And you need to be, first of all, aware of what that addiction is. And if you go back to your childhood, you'll see where, let's say you were where there's violence, watching violence, that's like that your body gets a hit of adrenaline. And so it will keep pulling that to you until you supersede the program and supersede that feeling. And I don't know about you, but I used to get uncomfortable about it going too well in the past. Did you ever have that feeling where you go, it's just going so great? I don't think and in the back of your mind, you may have said, I'm not worthy of it, or you're not really believing it. I don't know if you've had that, but I certainly had that. And it's like, so then you go and sabotage, right? Well, when you understand how it works and you make sure that you don't sabotage, you make sure that you go, no, I'm staying in my lane. I am not budging no matter how uncomfortable I get. Yeah, so La Milena said she realized it too. All right. Okay, so it's about, so you might have a pattern of this. You might be saying, oh my God, the neighbor went and did this to me, and then I went to work and my boss was mean, and and then I felt, and I'm so unfair, and then I'm made to do all the extra work. Okay, that's called victim mode, right? So victim mode shows up, and it shows up because you've been a victim in your childhood. And there's a problem. And until you start stop complaining and going, thank you so much. You're just showing me something that I need to change. And that boss or that neighbor was going to remind you of somebody. In fact, someone was saying how they go, oh, I've still got this bad neighbor. whatever. And then we go back into their childhood and or their life, and that neighbor is just like their mother. They go, yeah, they are just like my mother. And I go, well, until you resolve the issue with your mother, and it doesn't mean you just have to get out the pain and suffering and the hurt out of your body, and then it won't manifest next door, because suppression, when you hold all that stuff in, you contain all of and you go, I'm not going to show that I'm mad, I'm not going to show. But if you hold it in, it's not, you'll be sick. You'll go and get sick, or it will show up in people. Your life doesn't work. You have to acknowledge what's inside, but use it to transform, yeah? Right. How? Yeah. Well, how is an ongoing journey, and that's why I like forensic healing, because it says, well, we help, bring the energy through. However, you need to see that you need to change as well. It's not like, oh, I just get a healing and off I go. I've realized myself, my personal life and everyone else's life, that you just don't get a healing and voila, life is amazing. Well, sometimes it can be like that if your energy is at that point. And that's why I love Joe Dispenza's stuff. I love everybody that gets you accountable for how you are feeling. And I love that he says you have to overcome your environment. So just because it is, like what is, okay, COVID-19, lockdown, I don't have any money, whatever, I'm struggling. Well, that struggle is you're going to go back and it's going to show you so many things. Reflect. Were you living your true life? Were you following the guidance? Were you, healing your childhood of feeling like you had no money? Are you? Because I promise you, if you were wealthy and you've always been wealthy in childhood, you don't struggle with that. I've seen those people. I see them. And I go, we're just living programs. Okay. All right. So, La Milena, nice to see you chatting. She goes, I feel it's coming out. Can you feel the anger and not show, but later revisit and get angry to let go? Yeah, anger's huge, and that is why I like to apologize to people, because you never get an apology really from an abuser or someone that's not even aware of what they do. But you're going to have to give to yourself what you never got. And you're going to go, I'm so in charge of me. And actually, when you stop getting angry and you go on that journey of going, okay, universe, you're showing me something. And then the whole thing changes. And then you'll see, if you reflect, it was pushing you into a better scenario. Now, I do know this. I do know this now. I talked about in my email that went out how I went to the hairdresser, and then, and I got my hair done, and then he got this healing. But what he said to me was, he said that when I smoke, he goes, the next day everything goes bad. He said, I just know everything goes bad. And then I go, oh yeah, totally. Smoking is toxic. And then I've really cut back on drinking. I barely drink. And in fact, I can't drink really strong drinks. I can have a light beer, and I might have one a week or one a fortnight or something like that. Well, the other day I had 2 glasses of wine. And then I noticed, and he'd already, and then I noticed the next day the things were going wrong. Because it really puts my energy out now. When I got to a level where my energy just is really sabotaged by things that it never used to be sabotaged. Things I never knew it was affecting me. Because I was a drinker, smoker, took drugs. And nothing affected me. Well, what I thought didn't affect me, I was so disconnected and so whatever. But now, and I go, you know what? The universe was pre-warning me when that guy said that, and so about drinking, particularly, drinking at all. And so it was showing me that message that alcohol now you can't even tolerate. So anyway, so it doesn't actually. So anyway, what I'm saying is the universe talks to you all the time. Now, all right. So you might have, a family member that's negative or that's giving you issues. You need to be looking at that. They're your blessing. They're actually reflecting something that you need to change. And a lot of people don't, look at things and say, okay, so who are you? Why is this negativity? And it's not always about people saying, I have to stand up and speak my truth. I'm not saying that you don't have to create some boundaries. But I find that when people go, you know what, I got to speak up and I got to say my truth. And I'm like, and if they particularly want to hit me with that one, then I go, but I'm just reflecting to you who you are. And I'm trying to help you. And it's all about, some people don't get that it's not about actually always, it's not even about fighting. I'm not saying that you don't set boundaries and you don't speak, but when you only do it when you get more neutralized and you become more neutral. Because if you're saying everything in this anger or this frustration, then that anger and frustration is why it's come to you. So I would recommend that you deal with why have you attracted that? Where in your childhood do you feel that hurt by somebody and that's not addressed? Because everybody that shows up. So when and it's a difficult process to go through. I will say, I don't write bad feedback. I'm not saying that I haven't written in the past, not that I've done a lot of feedback, but I don't attack anymore, because I'm going, the universe is, if I've created something negative there, you've shown me, if I haven't got the right product or the right service or the right whatever, there's something that I need to change. And don't blame it on them. And it's just very frustrating as you kind of go, what is this? So, and that means I'm 100% responsible and they are not responsible. So I'm always looking for, the word is flow. When you got flow, you're on track, and when you don't, and it's my energy. So now I'm looking at, the universe is telling me 0 alcohol. Far out. Don't know how I can do that, because I do like the odd drink. But anyway, it's telling me I have to step up now. So are you stepping up? Have you stepped up? Because the planet is stepping up. Why is it stepping up? Because of the vast opposition that's in the fighting and everything. You can see that in the US. That's when you know it's going down, when there's real opposition. And there's kind of, opposition here in Australia in the way, although we're more laid back, but there's this unrest, and a lot of people don't believe in the COVID-19. They don't believe we should be locked down, how we should be locked down. They know there's an agenda. So there's a lot of awakening occurring. So do you need to wake up? That's the other thing. Do you need to wake up and stop living in denial? Have you done your research? Have you woken up to how this planet works? Because you'd be surprised if you haven't, how shocking and how we've been condoning bad behavior. I keep waking up. I remember when I went vegetarian, and then I'd serve cheese and have milk at one of my workshops, and someone said, what they do to the cows? They take away their baby cows straight away, and someone actually had a farm, and they had cows on their farm, and they said, the mothers would be crying. So I decided not to have any dairy anymore. Oh, very minute. But I just keep watching, what am I putting my money, my energy? Am I creating a more humane world? Because if I don't, then I get out of whack when I start. So I keep waking up, and I keep waking up, and I keep putting it into the future of this planet, which is humanity. And then I'll wake up to who do I support? And I have to do my research, and I have to really get clear on, like when I buy a product, who has, who created that product, where, how is it created, who was it tested on, or whatever. I have to really know. The more I wake up, the more then I will know that I'm not oblivious, right? Does that make sense, guys? Yeah, and then when I do that, the universe keeps giving me flow. It keeps creating humanity around me because I keep choosing humanity. I'm not gonna live in denial. I'm not gonna go, I don't want to know, like my mum won't want to know when I tell her, like, she sold Avon, and I go, but they test on animals, like, and then she'll go, oh well, let's hope they don't hurt them. And I go, she just didn't want to know, and they don't get that journey of energy. And then of course it will show up in her life because her life isn't always flowing, and she's always whinging about something, and so I'm just saying that it's a really conscious. You have to be super aware and super conscious and wake up. And I also had, a neighbour, and then they were talking about there was an issue with something, and I go, well, okay, well, if this is an issue, why don't you do that? And they go, oh, no, I don't have to do that because I've got enough money and it'll be fine. I go, well, why are you talking about it? Why do you bother complaining about something that's not really not affecting you? You said it's fine because it will be, this thing will balance out later. And she goes, oh, well, they just shouldn't have done it. I go, why bother? I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about what I want to grow. But she's going to be great because when I create my new book, I need to be reminded of how a lot of people think, that we forget that they don't really understand how consciousness works. They understand it in a compartmentalized way. Like, she totally agrees that people curse each other. She totally agrees that, you can send negativity and you can destroy people's lives like that. But that's compartmentalized. She doesn't see it. Then when she starts talking about something that's an issue, that she'll grow that issue. And we compartmentalize universal laws. Well, the whole planet and your life is completely contained in your energy. The type of people that you have surrounded you is contained in your energy. The place you live is contained in your energy. And I'm not just saying this life. Your soul has lived many lifetimes and it has come here. And all I can say is, I go, universe, I want a humane world. It makes me teary. I want a humane way. So I'm going to get my lessons. I'm going to get the change. I'm not going to ever forget to be grateful for how much I have when I am reminded of the torture and inhumanity that happens on this planet. I know it happens in my country, but I have a great country, but there's these third world countries. I could have grown up there. I don't want to come back and the universe go, or I've agreed in some crazy time in some lifetime where I go, oh yeah, send me back to some place where I'm in a third world country and have no money, so I remember gratitude. I go, no, I want to remember it now. I want to get my lessons so I don't continue having to learn a hard way. I'm going to change in this moment, change in the flow, be reminded of the gratitude, be reminded that, oh, thank you, if it's negative, right, I've got to change here. I've got to look at that and pull it apart. Now, I've met people that don't do forensic healing, but they will go, yeah, I believe in universal laws, and they've got this, usually they're the ones that turn up to a class, but it's about really analysing how did that show up, and it'll show up from your past. If you've got trauma in your past or you've got a program, it's showing up. And I remind you again, there's a pattern that I had that I didn't know about, and it was because my dad was a real estate agent. And So, and he would come home and, he'd beat me. He'd be mad, right? He was an Italian, had a tough life. His dad beat him, but his mum was lovely. And he was the youngest of 9 children. And and he got, anyway, so he got married and, 3 kids. Now then they had one later, which is the 4th. But he was a real estate agent, and I didn't realize that the beatings that he gave me, or, and he also sexually abused me, I didn't realize that programmed in my body so that when I would purchase or buy or sell real estate, which I don't do often, because who does that every day or every week or every month or every year? Nobody. But I didn't see it. But it got worse and worse as I got older. And I didn't see it because it's not something that you forget, you get over it, then 5 years, 10 years down the track, you go buy or sell, you change and you move. So, and it would show up again, but it got worse as I got older, to the extreme that all I had was my energy to change it. And then I woke up. I woke up to it, that, oh my goodness, this is the childhood, another part of my childhood, that program that has to come out of my body. Because we have triggers, smells, people. Well, if they're showing up now, the universe is telling you, got to heal it. You got someone that's really crappy, or this whole scenario, this COVID-19 is like whatever's causing you the most pain, the universe is just saying, change, heal, transcend, work on it. The answers are there, but you've got to start getting empowered, because you don't want to keep doing it. I'm over the pain. I've had too much pain and too much struggle. Yeah? All right, so I'm going to see if I've got any questions. If anyone still wants to come on, or if I've got any questions. Someone says, I felt powerless, then I realized it's showing me the boundaries and make me new choices of thought. I can have a different experience. Good, La Melena, very good. Alcohol is awful once your light body has upgraded. Yeah. It's a weird thing. It's like, the universe has shown me, not even, it was 2 glasses. I was out at a function. I had 2 glasses of wine, and then really 2 glasses, really. Yeah, Diana said drinking wine now depletes her. So yeah, I did, when I was a Mormon, I was no drinking, no smoking. I did that for 18 years, and then, when I could go have a glass of wine, it was, fine. And it's kind of this socially acceptable thing. And however, it's like the universe is going, this is not the planet, not the time. And even people say that I think marijuana is good for you. Well, I've got a whole story about that, and that's going to go in the book, but that messed with my energy field. 2 drags of marijuana that I had, and it sent me in overwhelm. And it's just that my body's just so super sensitive. I don't know about yours. What are you guys sensitive of? Our body is a house of records. Good, Crystal. Yeah, our body does record stuff. And the thing will be is when you start getting accustomed to peace, and then you keep aiming and you stay in that peace, then the old no longer works. You get custom. By the way, this happened to this person I was mentoring for some time, and I got this person to an awesome place, really good place. However, when one of his family members didn't like the fact that he was doing so well, and then it's sort of. So this person stopped seeing me. And I used to say to this person, I said, you know what? The universe always bails you out. It's bailed you out so many times. You get to this point and you always spit the dummy, but it bails you out. And he realized that. It was true. It did. He did. However, he stopped seeing me, comes back 7 or 9 months later, and now that family member no longer wanted anything to do with this person. And then I was in this person's presence for a few hours, and I couldn't do it either anymore. It was because the person was great, but over the 7 or 9 months went right down the gutter, went to, and this person struggled. But the energy and the difference was so big because I keep progressing, I keep cleansing. I'm always cleansing my body physically as well, by the way. And when we got together, I couldn't stand it, and my whole day was wrong the next day. And so it was like, I'm done with, I got to, no longer see this person, and this person really wanted to see me. And I go, you know what? I asked you, and he never did. This person never did what I asked them to do. They only did enough. So what I'm saying now is that person has now lost connection with their family and lost connection with me, which I was the person that gave them the most changes, and no more chances. It's like that person had it, and now that person needs to go and find their own way, and because it didn't hurt enough for them to really commit to change. If you're doing well and being empowered and feel great, and then a family member doesn't like that, and you stop it, well, do you know what I mean? Like, there's the sign. You keep compromising. Anyway, don't compromise, and don't let anyone stop your spiritual growth. So Pilar says, how can you get past getting a procedure done that it didn't turn out the way you wanted and you want to make changes with, but are afraid to make it worse? All right, so I'm not understanding exactly what that okay, so you have to keep getting something done. So if you have to keep getting something done, that means you're not changing. That means that you keep on, you're staying, you're not changing. It's like it's you. Sometimes if you go back to your childhood, did you think that you tried to make a change but it just got worse? That's usually, there'll be a parallel to that problem, a parallel. Were you in childhood and you try to make something better but it got worse? Well, that program stays in you, so you see it showing up. You keep going, well, this thing, it keeps getting worse. This is, La Melena says, this is good to know because I have gone through that too. Okay, well, you're making comments as I'm chatting, so it's a bit tricky to parallel to try and work out what comment against what I was saying. All right, so I'm going to wind it up. That when you get to that point, when you stop blaming. And when you stop blaming, then what will happen is you become this empowered energy. Therefore, disempowering energy clashes with you, and it won't connect with you. And hence why we want humanity. We have to bring humanity in our own bodies. We have to choose humanity for ourselves. But also where we place our energy. Again, it's where you send energy to, it's who you support, it's what you purchase, it's, many things. But the more connected you become, the more your intuition kicks in and the more you're guided. But I'm a truth seeker, so I want to know truth. I need to know what's really going on, as horrific as it might seem. However, I won't spend my life in that, because I will say, if this is happening, I have to get more humanity. And I interviewed beautiful Stella, the 10-year-old, last week, and I asked her about what she thought the future was for the planet. And she says good but bad. And I said to her, and like, she's a star, she's like, the children today are showing us, if they're being these beautiful, humane, they're very they're like oneness, these children, because they don't believe in competition, they believe in cooperation. They don't believe in hurt and anger and inhumanity. They believe in humanity and kindness. Well, if they're being born, they're telling me the future is amazing, because they would not fit in this planet with this energy if if the future isn't great, because they are a manifestation. The better the world gets and the more humane it gets, which it has better laws, we have a better awareness. We now know there's more vegetarians or vegans. There's more people that don't want to harm the planet, put toxins, on the planet. There's this recycling. We're recycling happening. There's things that, we are creating things that don't rubbish the planet. There's this shift. Now, that's better than we had 10 to 20 years ago. They cannot exist in an energy that isn't humane. So what I'm saying is, the better the fruit, the better the future. So when I said to her, I know it's going to be amazing because she existed. You have woken up, so I know it's going to be better because you exist in a better form. All right? Well, that's my final thing. Here's someone that Helen said, I came in when you were talking about addiction and I was halfway through a cigarette and it went out. Very unusual. I asked the universe to show me when it was time to give up and to give me support. I must be in the flow right now. Yeah, well, we had a shaman come to our 7-day live training and he has organic tobacco. It's like pure tobacco and he blows it on us. But he says that, and when he blows it it's like a healing. He has intentions and it's been a sacred plant that's had rituals done on it and it blesses us. And he said when you're smoking a cigarette that has toxins in it that you do when you're most stressed, then you are just doing the opposite, harming and programming yourself. So when he blows this pure organic, sacred plant on us, it's been blessed for intentions of kindness, it programs us. Tobacco, he says, is an amazing healing plant. There's so many healing modalities out there that if we keep on using them in the right way, bless us. Well, that's what tobacco does. Crystal says, affirm to yourself hourly, you might want to set an alarm on your clock or your watch or your phone that everything works out in my favor. I am blessed as the universe rigs everything in my favor. Absolutely. Gorgeous. And Annette, thank you. Have a great day. Thank you, Annette. You too and your beautiful baby. Yep. Well, I am a new great aunt. Yes, and I got to hold a 5-day-old baby, and it was just gorgeous. Anyway, and so babies' energies are so pure, and this is how easy it was. This baby, was it 5 days? And it wasn't, 5 days, and it had put on no weight since it was born. And I go, well, would you like me to? And all of us was to shift that. They don't really. My nieces. And don't know me that well, and I'd only met the husband once, but they're beautiful, lovely souls. And I said, I can do a little whatever. So when I was holding baby, I just said, okay, well, let's bless this baby that it's going to be, putting on weight. And the next day, and so I did that. It just took me 10 to 15 seconds. It was just this real, intention. And I felt the energy go. Next day, it's been putting on weight every day since. Well, I saw it the other day, and they let me hold it the whole time during this, social thing that I went to, and I'm holding it, and it went into really relaxed mode, and it had just been fed, and they said, oh, you got to keep it awake because it's going to be awake all night. Because now it's on demand feeding. And I go, all right, do you want me to, do my thing? And I just kind of no, it's going to be, it was just an intention. It's not even anything. I had this intention, and I got a text the next day. The baby's calm. It slept, longer. It didn't, even though it was calm during the day and was sleeping during the day when we had it. It slept also at night. So everything is a lot of intention, and when you become a really good conduit, you are continually creating. And I go, what a blessing. What a blessing that we are continually creating. And you need to recognize your kindness and your beautiful gift and keep it sacred, because if once people tamper with that and they start disrespecting you, or you've got unkindness, it's going to mess up your energy and your ability to heal or yourself and others, or just be a blessing to the planet. So anyway, I'm going to end up on that note and just wish you enlightenment and healing, and wish you acknowledgement that you have so much more power that you even knew. You could manifest so much more, and tap into that and be aware of that, and be aware that it's within and your outer is showing you what is within. Change the within and you change outwardly. All right. So beautiful. I think we are good for today. Wishing you a beautiful Wednesday of the month, first Wednesday of the month, and let's create the second half of the year an amazing year. So bless you. Take care. Okay, thank you.